Hello, welcome to Dip into the Ink. I'm Noah, and this is a show where sometimes a guest and I dive into a comic book. Today we have recurring guest, making sure no one else beats him in his track record of being on this show, Rodolfo Juarez Pinedo the
All right,
Third.
that's right. We're gonna get 500 views on this one. I'll have a good feeling. This is it.
Yeah,
This is the
you're still
one.
trying to
We
be.
both we both got our muscle shirts on. We both got our headphones. I'm just missing my chain, my gold chain. But this is the one.
I'll buy you a chain for Christmas so we can fully match.
Yes.
Speaking of, I was about to say, a friend of the show, Diego Crespo, also my biological father, was a guest, and he has the most views on this channel. Well,
Oh,
speaking of dressing up similarly, because we just did this on accident. We did not actually do this.
no
Uh,
way. We talked about
one Halloween ago, years ago, my father Diego dressed as me for Halloween, and at the time I was super into bandanas and flannels is things I wear like all my life. So he had like a flannel. He borrowed my
this.
clothes, a flannel and bandana, and he's trimmer than me, so it was like kind of big on him, but it was very funny.
Got the orange
Uh,
bandana down and everything.
yeah, it was really good. I also wore sunglasses all the time, so he had sunglasses. It was very funny. I was very flattered. But oh, that's so off topic. What are we here for? What are we here today? What are we talking
We're
about?
here
What's
to talk about the Chink X-Men.
Ooh, and they're beating up children on this issue. They're fighting kids.
Hey,
So
they're juveniles
they
and they
are.
deserve it.
We're talking about Uncanny X-Men number 2. Fun fact, I texted Rudy a picture of this. I was like, "Are you ready for round 2?" And he's like, "Who are the outliers?" Because it's on the cover. And I was just like, "You have to read to find out. That's the advertisement."
Oh, I was so lost in this one, Noah. I was like,
Okay.
"Who's this? Who's that? Who's that lady? Who's this guy?"
I'm gonna readjust my camera just a
You're gonna have
little
to
bit.
help me out.
Okay, I'm very excited. If you are new to the show, this is the show where we go through a comic book page by page. Rudy's X-Men newbie. I'm an X-Men veteran. So let's just dive into the comic and talk about it. So if anyone sees me looking off to the side, it's because I have the comic in person. I'm going to be referencing. But what's your thoughts on this cover?
I love it. It's just mysterious. We see those teens coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are these juveniles? Why are they beating up the X Men?
And
And
why
I
is there
never
a
seen like.
horse?
And why is there a horse? Why is Logan like? Seems like he's floating in
Like
space. I've never seen him. Ah,
ah.
right now. Ah. I love the cover. What about you?
I think it's very interesting. Spoiler alert: this issue is going to introduce some kid characters, and it's a hit and miss with these kid characters. Sometimes they stick around for years and become like staples. Other times they're around for maybe a year and they're gone forever. So I will talk more about if any of these kids, as a new reader, interest you, and which ones may or may not for different reasons. But we'll get to that
Are
when we get to
these
that.
are these new mutants?
Yes,
Because I've heard
brand new
that.
characters. These are
Oh,
brand new
okay.
characters. These are brand new mutants. There's a bunch of
Go
kids.
like New Mutants, like that series, the
Oh,
New
like the
Mutants.
brand new mutant. They
Yeah.
could if people like them. Maybe they'll get the brand new mutants. But all the people that are in the new mutants are like adults now. They're all
So okay,
adults.
they're grown up. They're part of the X Men now.
They are part of the X-Men. If people like this and they like New Mutants, maybe you and I will dive into an issue of the classic New Mutants. But
All
we
right,
cut.
whoa. One thing at a time. One thing at a time now. No, slow down
If we
there,
get a lot
buddy.
of views, we'll do it. That's because Rudy wants the views. We cut to the first page. Because we have Charles here on a bench. He's thinking. He's like, "Oh, before all my love interests when I was young, there was a girl. There was simply her, and this woman off screen. We can see her butt and legs. Very nice. But
Very stylish, yeah.
you hate my accents, but I get to bust out an accent." She goes, "Hello, sailor.
Or-
I've gone and lost my what's it. Mind giving a helpless yank a boost?" Because she's
That's actually
English. And we turn to the next page. You guys, forgive me if everything looks weird on art and the pages not the best, but my OBS skills are not great. But we cut to the next page where this woman, she has like a bandana and her hair. That's very 80s. That's the point I was trying to make. Like she's very 80s, right?
I got that vibe. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know what though? Since I'm so new to all these characters, I thought that was Rogue, but she like dyed her hair blonde. I'm like, is
Uh-huh.
that blonde Rogue? Like, what happened? Is this how she was younger? Like, how did she stay so young after all these years? What's your skincare routine? But then I found out it's just totally different. Other
Mm-hmm.
hot, gorgeous woman that kind of looks like that very flowy hair and all that. So also kind of wears yellow and stuff. So, oh, okay.
Well, also, she has like an accent, and I get it though, because she has like the big hair and the bandana, which Rogue is like famous for.
And she also has an accent. There you go. You're
And
right.
she has an accent, but it's an English one. And he's like, "Oh, this hot girl approaches her," and he kind of gives her a push up to grab a frisbee out of a tree, and she's like, "My name's Sarah, boy, the way." And he's like, "Oh, hello, I'm Charles." And she calls him a pagan, a witch boy, they say. And they have a bit of an interaction, and she's like, "Oh, what's your sport?" And he's like, "Oh, long distance running," which is very funny because this is the strength
It's
of his
kind of
legs.
ironic, huh? Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, buddy, wait till what happens. Till what happens later in the future, man.
You better enjoy that running now, Charles. You're not going to be running a lot in the future. But he's like, "What are you reading?" And he's just like, "Oh, some romantic twaddle. Genetics unlocked."
Yeah.
But it's interesting that he says nothing, some romantic twaddle, and he's reading Genetics Unlocked. And I think that's a fun little minor detail to include, because you and I have talked about the philosophy of Charles Xavier, about like assimilation, and about how his politics may not be very appealing to today's audiences just because it is assimilationist. It's not, it's like, let's fit into their narrative instead of establishing our own. And
instead of liberation, yes.
And describing like the idea of mutants, Genetics Unlocked, as romantic twaddle, his idea of mutantdom being romanticized through his like dreams of the future and what could be. I just thought that was an interesting little like tidbit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like the way he describes it. I thought that was interesting.
I didn't think of it like that, and that's always his viewpoint. How like, this is something to be admired, something to strive for, but never really taking action on.
Exactly, 100%. But I thought that was interesting. And here's my accent again. I know you love it. "It's a local custom to buy a girl hot cuppa once she's climbed on one side of you and down the other. Are you coming?" And she says that. So we cut, and then I guess he goes, "We'll visit this lady. This random lady will come important later in the issue." Sorry, I know.
Okay, so do you know who this lady is? Is she in any other comic?
She is in no other comic. Again, I feel like this comic is for new people because we don't know who a lot of these characters are. They're just for us. So this lady, we don't know her.
The whole time I was reading this, I was like, "Oh, Noah's got to know this character. He'll know. He'll recognize this one." No, okay.
No, we have no idea who this is. This is all new characters. So cut to the recap page. After the island nation of Krakoa fell, mutants have been left adrift across the globe. Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler reunited to fill the dying wish of a young mutant and an X-Men fan, Harvey X. Before the death, Harvey gave the mutants a cryptic warning via his telepathic gift regarding some imminent arrivals, including the Endling, who is fated to bring about the end of mutant kind. Later, while staying at a friend of Gambit's in Louisiana, the X-Men have dealt with the aftermath of Harvey's tragic passing in a new search for purpose. They were interrupted by a group of young mutants asking for their help, for they were being pursued by a monstrous being. Meanwhile, at the X-Mansion, former headquarters of the X-Men, has been requisitioned as a prison for mutants, overseen by Corina Els. Among the inmates is a mysterious Inmate X. And you and I kind of guessed that maybe Inmate X, because he had like a giant helmet on his head. Maybe Professor X? Inmate X?
I think so. I honestly, after reading this issue, I was like, come on, it has to be.
Yeah, and we open up on Charles Xavier, so it kind of feels like it has to be him,
I think so, and then like, why else do you have a helmet? Everyone thinks you're dead. That's a perfect way to kind of disappear a little bit,
But we cut to this beautiful 2-pager, and Rogue is just like, "It's our first night at Haven in Louisiana. We thought no one would come looking for us less than we wanted them to." And this is really sad. She says, "But I called half a dozen mutants I thought were my friends, and not one of them picked up." And that's just like, mutant kind is so scattered right now,
They're truly on their own, yeah.
And this girl with a horse, girl in like a bodysuit, guy with jacket, and then creepy kid.
Some emo kid.
Emo kid. Before we do anything, you first see them. I don't know if we talked about them. What's your just general thoughts about these kids so far? Just like looking at them. What do you think of their designs?
I love the girl. I love the horse girl. I like actually all the characters. I bet their powers like fit their personalities. That's how I feel like whenever I see like costume mutants, right? Also, my first reaction when I was reading all this, because like they're gonna get in a fight,
Yeah.
and I was like, why are adults fighting children? Because like we left on
Mhm.
such a cliffhanger in the beginning, and then and they're kids for Pete's sake. So I don't know how it
Yeah.
got derailed. But my first thoughts is are like I love who are these characters? I like them. I'm curious
Mhm.
about this emo kid. I want to know what their powers are.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of when I forced you to read Teen Titans Justice League, where they had like a little fight, and once again, it's adult fighting children.
Yeah. Oh my god. Was it
Mhm.
exactly? What's up with adults
I
fighting
don't
kids?
know, but at least in that there was a lot of interpersonal relationships kind of bubbling that you could see. With this one, it's a total
That's
random
true.
accident
They
because Rogue
are.
and Gambit are like they don't know who these kids are, but they're kind of like, who are these? And they notice Gambit's being distracted by the eye of Agamotto that he stole from the dragon from the last I was about to
Issue.
say the last episode, but last issue. But we cut to the next page, and the eye of Agamotto just springs and it blasts one of the kids. And you know, it was like, Gambit, get your shit together. I don't know. The eye's doing its weird magic stuff, and it just blasts him. So that's why the kids attack. You know, they're just kind of triggered. This one kid that was hit runs and gives him a little punch. And I don't know who this kid is, but I think it's impressive that he was able to punch Wolverine in the first place.
And he stood
Mhm.
up to him too, like I don't give a fuck who you are,
Mhm.
you know, like I'm here, I need help. Are you gonna help me? Yes or
Mhm.
no?
And you know, it's even if Wolverine was unready, still punching him is something. But then we cut to the next page where I'm not sure how I feel about this. This girl kind of jumps onto her horse, and the horse turns into fire, or she says, "You see it?" What'd she say? I think later we find out she's from the Midwest. So how would she like? She's like, "Yeah, see it, Ember? They're mean, like Mother said, goblins." I don't know. I was trying to do a Midwestern, but
That's like Scottish right there. No, you're a couple thousand miles off.
see what I don't.
I can't do any better.
When
I'm talking like I could
the,
do better.
you know what? It's been a while since I've played D&D. I need to fix my accents. But she jumps on this horse and goes Pegasus Night, and then the horse transforms, I guess.
It's a fire bird,
Mm,
fire horse.
a
I don't.
fire horse.
So I think it's later revealed that she's not a mutant,
Mm-hmm.
but she has an obvious connection with this horse. So that kind of got me thinking about the Runaways. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that other like the one that came out with like the woman like high schoolers.
Yeah.
And isn't there that one girl who I don't think she has powers either, but she is able to communicate with that Velociraptor from
Yeah,
the
she has like a
dinosaur?
special relationship with the
Yeah,
Velociraptor.
yeah. So that's kind of so that was my
Mm-hmm.
click. Like, oh, okay, you know, like I could kind of see this happening.
Mm-hmm. Some animals have been known to have to also be like mutants. So maybe it could be like the horse has powers and she kind of like jumps on him to activate it. I don't know.
Shares them
I
or
don't
something like
know.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Or I wonder, or it could be revealed later that she is a mutant and she just doesn't want to accept it. Maybe that could be a character thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like she's like, no, I'm not a mutant. It's my horse. It's not me. I could never be a mutant. But then that's maybe part of her journey is
And
like
then he's like, "Oh,
accepting
but
it.
you are a mutant. You gotta
Yeah.
accept it." Yeah, okay, I could see that thing out.
Mhm. But it's really funny narration from Rogue, and she goes, "To be honest, I just wanted a beer and a hot bath," and I'm like, "Shit, I
Yeah, things are
really."
getting derailed. The
Mhm.
powers are being activated. Wolverine gets punched in the face, and then like all the kids are revealing their powers. And the next panel, this is by far my favorite
Mhm.
character. I forgot her name, but I don't know what the hell she does,
Mhm.
but I still like her costume. I like how she
Mhm.
has like a little bit of a stutter. I want to say, and then she does like some phasing power thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah, the first half of this page is devoted to this horse girl. The next is to this. I don't know what we're gonna find out what her power is. We'll talk more behind the scenes in a little bit, but she kind of does this movement where she's like focus,
Yeah.
and I believe her power is that due to Gail Simone on Twitter, the writer, she made like a joke like her power is ADHD in the sense that I believe she can learn anything and copy its movements or whatever and use it, but only for like a minute.
Oh,
So like
that's a pretty cool
so you
power
could
right
like
there.
learn
Yeah.
how to fight, but then you can only time yourself using those abilities for like a minute, I guess. I believe um Noah, don't be lazy and edit yourself if you're wrong here. But but she goes and she gives him a little kick. And she's just what does she say? She's like, focus. Just a suggestion. Maybe you should go home and get the rest of the deck because Gambit was like, I don't need a full class to deal with
Yeah.
you, shit. And he's like, gives him a little kick.
I
Horse
think that's
girl.
pretty cool
Yeah,
that
that's
she has like a bit
mm-hmm,
of like, oh, when she's not using her powers, like she's like all over the place. She's
mm-hmm,
thinking of here, crossing everything, but like when she activates him, she just hones in on her
mm-hmm.
skills.
And
It's kick
it's a
ass.
cool visual because that power could be
Yeah,
something that's very easily like not something you see, like but it's cool like little line work where it's like After Effects,
yeah,
almost like a photograph of like blurred movement.
yes. That's why I like this
Mhm.
so much. I like her
And,
character.
and then they're teens, kids really, and they don't look old enough to drive. So how in the world are we losing? And then
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
this
thinking.
horse girl. See, this is more into my theory about this horse girl being like a mutant that won't accept it. She said all mutants are dirty goblins. Okay, that's a little fucking racist. And you know what I mean? I think maybe she's
Oh
talking about
damn,
her
yeah.
mother, like talking shit.
That's right. The second time
Hmm.
she mentioned mother as well. So
Hmm.
who's his mother? So there's a lot of open question how they end up in the forest, right?
Hmm. Like how they end up
And
in the
Trace,
forest. Why are they here?
Trace, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even before she said they're mean, like Mother said, goblins. Now is this Mother some weird evil monster, or is she talking about her mother? But we'll find out in a bit. But this creepy guy, he's just like, he goes, "Hello, Mr. Logan. I am having a cyanide dream. Oh, Mr. Logan, you've killed such a great lot of people. They missed you so." And there's a cool little moment where like he has dark eyes and there's like shadows behind him, and we're not entirely sure what his power is, but maybe something like
Yeah.
nightmares, maybe something death.
I honestly have no idea. I thought he was gonna like show off or something, like
Mhm.
consume the darkness, but he was just kind of standing there. I don't know. Thinking about My Chemical Romance or something.
he's just really, he's like, tonight will be the night. He just starts singing.
Honestly, yeah.
Fall for you. But we cut over to Grey Malkin prison, once Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. And this captain of the guard that we met in the last issue, he says, um, she's brought us another warden. He's hearing impaired, deaf, really. And this woman kind of talks about how their main offensive thing is a sonic that could liquefy your brain.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to work on accommodating different attacks for different mutants. And they head into the danger room, and they're talking about they're not going to dismantle it. They want to run the mutant through it this morning. So maybe the danger room will be something, I don't know, like a testing ground for whatever this lady's plans are. Is this really a prison? Is she going to use mutants? We don't know.
I think she's gonna use them. That's my hunch. She's gonna see what they're
Mhm.
worth, and she's gonna send them out. And I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, if you do this favor, we'll let you
Mhm.
go. I don't know.
There's been like dystopian futures where humans will turn mutants into like quote dogs and like zap their brains and make them hunt other mutants. So
Oh,
maybe
see,
that's
there you
something
go.
she will
Mind
do,
control or something.
mind control or something. But who knows? This woman is nefarious, and I don't know why, but I blame Charles Xavier. I just blame him for most things. uh, we head back to our little blast of the past. Our narration from the private journals of Charles Francis Xavier. What could I say? A proper gentleman doesn't flout a local custom. And this clearly is like very young Charles because she's just like, you read my mind. And he's like, I didn't. I mean, it's bitter cold even with the fire. And it's a Charles so uncertain, which is just so weird to see him. But she asked him to take off your hat, take off your cap. And it's a little sad because as he takes it off, he thinks to himself, well, it was a nice fantasy while it lasted. But surely this will scare her away. And this woman, she looks kind of intrigued. And there's a cute little moment where she's like, what was your hair before this? And he's just like, it was blonde. And she's like, oh,
Only one. Yeah.
I can't stand blondes. This will do me nicely, sweet boy.
Damn, he got a
Which
forehead kiss on the first
I
date.
know, romantic.
Who is
Oh my
this
gosh,
lady,
who
man?
is
Yeah,
this
what? How come he's
fucking?
never talked about this lady before?
Well, we're gonna find out in a little bit. But we cut to the next page. which I'm sure you're confused by this. Teresa Siren. Teresa Siren is, we won't get into her long history, but are you aware of the X-Men Banshee? He does a super scream, ah, and he can fly. He was in X-Men First Class.
You know what? I got so confused. I thought I was Black Canary. I was like, oh, that's Black Canary.
You know what?
That's from DC. No, yeah. It's supposed to be some other girl that has high-pitched screaming then, yeah?
Okay. There's an Irish guy called Banshee. He was in X-Men First Class. Did you watch that movie?
Okay. Yes. Okay, I remember.
You remember there's a guy who screams, and when he screams, he can fly.
Yes, I remember that.
This is his daughter. This is his daughter. So this rich lady is like, "Hello, Teresa, or do you prefer Siren? Don't get up." It's a bit ironic considering your gifts, but do you hear that buzzing in your head? Imagine it being 1,000 times worse in a nanosecond. And you see that's why she has a thing over her mouth, because she has her father's power. So like the super scream, the fly. You know, once
is that a thing with mutants? Like when they have kids, the kids have the same powers, or is it sometimes it's just like it's random?
It feels like it depends on the story. Because it's always weird. Genetics is weird. It kind of is just like the genetics is weird, because someone like Banshee, whose daughter has the same power as him, and you look at Nightcrawler, who's the son of Mystique, but he doesn't have shape changing, but he is blue, you know. So it really is whatever the story is. I feel like normally it's not truly planned, but yeah, this one is just a coincidence. But
they just make it what works for the storyline. Okay, gotcha.
But this woman goes, "Now, Teresa, you know Charles Xavier is dead, correct?" And she's just like, "I don't believe you. Go to hell." Oh wait, she's Irish. Hold on.
You gotta do that accent. Yeah, you did earlier.
I don't believe you. Go to hell. Also, I've heard your podcast. It sucks. It does.
I love that. That's why she's so diabolical. Because she has a podcast.
That's why she's evil. Much. You know what? She's gonna capture mutants just to put them on her podcast. That's why she's gonna
sit down interview.
You know what? If I could have a podcast and kidnap my guests and then have them talk about being kidnapped, I'd do it. I mean, if I had the fucking money.
And then you got the purple mattress sponsorship. You got it in, man.
Yeah, you got it in. But the woman goes, "We're gonna fix everything, Teresa. How would you like to be one of my trustees?" So again, this is kind of feeding into the thoughts like maybe she's gonna use mutants, maybe she's gonna manipulate them to catch more. Siren is usually a good guy. She's been a bit of like a revolutionary, sort of like burn down everything to rebuild like way during her origin, which is so. But cool. Hopefully this story doesn't get too complex and like for new readers and people who don't know the character. So hopefully it doesn't get too crazy, but we'll see where that goes. But we cut back to the fight and we have Rogue going, "Okay, I can't ever hit a horse. Not ever going to hit a horse. But bratty teen girls, I've been kicking their asses since junior high." And you know, Rogue's a country girl. She's not going to hit a horse, but she'll hit a girl. And she gives her a punch. And we see once the girl's off the horse, she loses a connection and she falls through. And this guy who punched Logan is like, "I got you." And you hear Wolverine, he's like, "Hey kid, you're it." And he gives him a little punch. And I guess Wolverine's like, well, if this kid's strong enough to punch me, hopefully he can take one of my punches. Because you see in the panel, there's like a little bit of blood there.
Yeah, man. He like no mercy right there.
No mercy. So he gives him a little punch. And over to the next page, we see this girl falls in the grass. And I guess whatever that creepy kid was trying to do to Logan didn't work because he had him in his hands. And the girl, the ADHD girl, her little, I don't know what that is, Apple iWatch. Her Apple iWatch starts buzzing and Gambit just kind of knocks her down. And it was very much the X-Men are caught off guard. And then they're like, "All right, no, stop. Now let's stop this." But they quickly finished it. But then the horse looks sad. But yeah. After that, the guy who got punched is like, "Leave her alone. If you're not gonna help us, leave us alone." And then off panel, we hear a voice that goes, "Or how about this?" And then fireworks. Everyone leaves everyone alone. And it's Jubilee. Oh my gosh. Woo. And she
Honestly,
goes,
I had no idea who this person was until Rogue said Jubilation. Who is this lady?
You didn't get it? Okay, you watched X-Men. You didn't get it by the
I did.
fireworks? Or did you not
That
know those
looks
are
like
fireworks?
beautiful. Yeah, those look like beautiful brush strokes of plasma. I don't know. I didn't see no fireworks in this.
But it's like, it's supposed to be your fireworks. But Jubilee says, geez, how did I end up being the adult in this situation?
Oh.
And that's kind of like a joke about how Jubilee, and even in X-Men 97, she's like the youngest person around.
Yeah.
So when Rogue earlier said, I called so many X-Men, like nobody really picked up. I guess Jubilee picked up. So shout out to Jubilee.
Yay.
But I've been talking for a hot minute, controlling this very conversation. What's your thoughts on Jubilee? What do you think of her as a character, her appearance in this comic, her kind of little design with the yellow jacket?
I've always liked Jubilee. I always liked her, actually. I don't know why people... I always feel like she gets like a bad rap, or she's seen like as the annoying character. I vaguely remember like the old X-Men cartoon show, but I just remember people like, oh, she's so annoying. Oh, she was like, she always getting in trouble and whatnot. But like, I personally, I've always liked the character. Always liked the getup. Like always, I think that yellow jacket's always been cool. And as far as her powers go, honestly, I still don't know what she does. I know she does like fireworks, but that's as far as I know. But but then we saw like in the X-Men 97 show, like she could do like so much more stuff with those powers too. She kind of like I don't know, she could like jump around. So you know what? Like I think it's nice to see like this mature side of her. I guess I think maybe that's refreshing because in X-Men 97 she's kind of still was seen as the kid and still treated like the kid. This one she's seen as an equal. So that's actually new for me, and I like that.
Yeah, she's very much an adult. I just Googled it. I don't understand it myself. Jubilee had the ability to create and detonate energy plasmoids, brilliant balls of light that resemble fireworks. So she like, I don't know. She makes little fireworks. That's all
she's in the X-Men. That's all we got.
She's in the X-Men. Fun fact: in the Ultimate X-Men, which was, I believe, an alternate universe, the first Ultimate X-Men that ran from 2001 to 2014, I think, 2016 maybe, like an alternate universe. They had a version of Jubilee, and the way her powers were explained is that she rubbed atoms together, so she was causing like miniature atomic abrasions, not explosions yet, because their little fireworks were like abrasions. So like she squished atoms together and that make explosions. So I thought that was a fun like take on her powers. It never really went anywhere in that comic, but that's a whole that first Ultimate X-Men universe is a whole other discussion that we do not need to get into. But shout out to Jubilee. I think she looks. I love the art. I know we haven't mentioned too much about it. A lot of story. Marquez killing it so far. Love the little light show. You know what? You know what this light.
Yeah, I was about to say like just everyone looks so fit and good looking.
Everyone looks beautiful. God.
Damn, everyone looks nice if you're.
Even the kids who might be like a little dirty and worn for like being through the woods look like prep students, like they look all clean and nice.
Yeah, man. Everyone's fit here. Everyone eats good.
Everyone's eating good. But re-looking at this fireworks page, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Is bioluminescent lights in the ocean. A little bit. I don't know why that just popped into my head.
Aurora Borealis.
Oh my God. Oh, you're right. The Aurora Borealis. I'm sorry. But we cut to the next page and Rogue is happy. And she's like, Jubilee! Nobody else answered my fucking DMs. You're the only one who showed up. And Jubilee's like, yeah, the cartoon got me a lot more fans. So I had to show up in this comic book contractually.
Yeah. Little cameo.
And Gambit apologizes. She's just like, sorry, dear. I sort of picked up this hitcher. Him's a bit twitchy. Like, that was a terrible Cajun accent. It's fine.
It took me a second too. Even I was reading this, I'm like, I don't know what he just said, but all right.
Okay. Look, sorry, dear. I sort of picked up a hitcher. Him's been a bit twitchy. And twitchy, I guess the hitcher is the little eye of Agamotto. He's like, sorry, the eye's acting weird. And
Took me a second to like.
Rogue kind of regains control of the situation. She's like, "Just a moment, Jubilee. You four, we didn't exactly meet cute. Go sit by the fire and let the adults talk for a moment." And there's a funny moment where the guy's like, "Can I have one of those beers?" And she's like, "No, fuck."
That's funny.
And I like how Logan, he's just like, "I'm telling you, they don't smell right, like decay." And decay, maybe their death, maybe he's talking about the weird zombie kid. I'm not sure.
Maybe I think they're with the zombie kid.
But Rogue's just like, "Listen, Jubilation's back from recon on Grey Malkin. Grey Malkin Lane being the street that the X Mansion is on. If that is
the prison.
Yeah, the prison. So she went to go visit the prison to like spy on it, see what's going on. And she's like, "I'm gonna need you two fellas to talk to these kids down, all right? Find out what got them so spooked." Which I think is interesting because when we go to the next page, Wolverine's just like, "You can talk to him. I'm done mentoring."
Yeah.
And Rogue is just like, he's like, "No more Daddy Logan, no more Uncle Wolverine." And he's like, "I'm out." And she's like, "Those kids are still alive, Logan." He's like, "Not all of them." And she kind of talks about like, he's changed. He came back changed. Maybe we all did.
Look,
and
yeah, look at that panel too. Like from left to right, you can see that contrast. It looks dark and grim. So that got me wondering, like, what happened for him to have that kind of face?
And you know, the thing about Logan is that he's like always portrayed as a survivor. You know, he makes it to the end. He carries all these emotional burdens. He's always fighting. But he says he's done. He's like, "I'm done mentoring. I'm done watching kids. After all that shit with the island and people died and everything went to hell, I'm done with it." And that you're right, that art on his face, Marquez and the shader does an excellent job. Like, he looks devastated. He looks upset. And you know, we keep getting each issue, we keep getting like Wolverine's face doing something dramatic.
Honestly, yeah, but there's that little glint in his eyes. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of hope, a little bit of softy in him after all. I don't know.
But it's just very sad. Like, Wolverine's tired.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it in the first issue about how he was with Cyclops, but he left them. But even in their issue where he's there, he's just done. The reason he's out here with Rogue and Gambit is not because he wants to be the X-Men. It's because he's done with all that shit. He just wants to find a place to relax. He's tired. And I don't know how this dialogue's a little cheesy. Let me tell you. Rogue and Gambit give a little kiss. And then these kids are like, "Damn, stuff going down in the teacher's lounge." And he's like, "Can you blame him?" And the death kid is just like, "Love is morphine, comfort before death." And the horse girl's like, "Tell me when it's over." And it's just like, what's your thought of this little attraction?
I liked it because like that's how was it, Gambit and Rogue trying to be flirty and be romantic and start making out. They don't care who's around, even if it's in front of kids. We would clearly see that. So I thought it was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny. I thought it was a little cringy, but the thing is, like, it's always hard to write children characters, especially when you're an adult. So I'm not like offended by it. But what it mostly does, even if it's a little cringy, what it mostly does is like establish more of their personalities. You know, the ADHD girl is like joking. The strong guy is like, "Oh, can you blame him?" The creepy kids reciting like something poetically, and the horse girl, embarrassed, shy, doesn't want to look at two mutants kissing, to say this thing, adding more. But Jubilee is like, "What are you doing, Rogue?" And Rogue's like, "Calling the last guy I want to talk to, I guess." And she goes off to make the call. And Gambit and Wolverine go to talk to these kids. And again, a little cringy. The strong guy is just like, "High five, my dude, your girl is slamming." And I'm just like,
is that what kids say these days?
As someone who lives with my nephew who is 14.
Does he say slamming?
He doesn't watch this. It's fine. I don't have to remember his age. He has never said slamming.
You better. He has to now.
I know
all the cool kids are saying.
But Gambit's like, "Where the fuck are you guys from? what are you doing here? And this girl Sophia, she's like Singapore. The strong guy's Buenos Aires. The creepy kid's like Hotaru. My name's Sotoro. I'm from Kyoto. Horse girl's like Becca, Constance, Simone, Pinette. I'm from Clintwood, Virginia.
I know, yeah. It's just like you said earlier, like it establishes their personalities a lot more, and it got me curious. Like, damn, how'd they all get together? They're from all these random ass places from the world.
And it's like, was it some magic? Was it some mutant thing? But again, we keep talking about mutant ideas and theories. And Wolverine, once again, beautiful page of Wolverine's face. He's just like, he doesn't mean those names, kids. He means the names you chose, your mutant names. Which again, asking what your mutant name is very much a Magneto thing. It's not a Charles thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Charles would be like, "What's your name?" And then Magneto would be like, "No, what's your real name? Like, what's your mutant name? The name you chose. You know, that's more of a Magneto thing than it is a Professor." I think.
Do you think there's a reason like Wolverine said this, or again, like it's just because like for the sake of it seemed cool?
I think it might be sort of a continuation of people moving away from Xavier's dream. Which I think a lot of characters have been doing. So I think maybe they're tired of all the death and destruction, which fits Wolverine's character. But yeah, I think I remember in the second X-Men movie when they're on the X-Jet. I don't know why this sticks out to me so much, but you know the guy who controls fire, right?
Yes.
They're on the X-Jet and Magneto's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, I forget his name." He's like James or something. And Magneto's like, "No, what's your real name?" And he's like Pyro. And you know what I mean? Like that's very like X-Men 2 coded. Like, what's your mutant name? Your real name.
I like that. That's actually pretty cool. Like, no, man, that's not what I mean. I want to know like what you call yourself.
Yeah.
And I like these mutant names. I like Jitter. Jitter's a cool one. Yeah. Ransom, I still quite don't know what Ransom does, but that's a cool name. Death Dream, that's actually pretty badass. I like that. And Calico.
Oh, me. Calico, I'm not a mutant. I didn't have anywhere else.
Yeah.
Girl, you're a mutant. Fucking, I don't know. That's my theory. The
horse is tired.
Yeah, the horse is fucking tired.
My God, not again.
Not again. You know what? If the horse started talking, I'd believe it to be mutant.
Yeah. Right.
And you're like, shit, I guess he is a mutant. I guess he is a fucking mutant. Oh, yeah. But we cut to the next page where this continues. And no parents. And Jitter's like, none, not anymore. A voice called us here, said you could save us. And my early theory is that voice is maybe Professor X. I don't know. Like, telepathy, like sending, I don't know. I truly don't know. That's my only theory. I don't really have anything. Because we're not really given a lot of information.
Yeah. You don't know if it's Guy's voice or the voice. Because there's lots of other telepaths, right?
Yeah. But Wolverine's like, why do you smell like death, child? And the child's like, I could ask you the same question, bitch. Shut the fuck up. He's like, don't ask me questions.
Do you know why he's called Logan? He calls him Logan of the Trees.
I haven't the faintest idea. I actually, that one I do not know. It's funny though, because the strong guy's like, I flipped a coin, heads X-Men, tails Brotherhood. Give up heads. So he's just like, oh, we didn't know where to go.
Brotherhood is Cyclops' team, right? Or no?
They're kind of acting a little Brotherhoody, but I don't believe there's a Brotherhood right now, so it's a little bit of a joke. The guy was like joking. Brotherhood is usually like the team Magneto has, like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Oh, okay.
So that's usually like Magneto's evil team, but since Magneto's been a bit changed, it's been like different teams and stuff, but it's sort of like a joke. Like either heads or tails, good guys, bad guys. You guys won. Like I think it's more of a joke than an actual choice.
Oh, I get it.
But Jitter's like, we know you're hurting. We read the news. Your island blew up. Boo-hoo. But you gotta help us because we're kids. Please. And then once again, sorry, I did not change. Oh, I did change the image. Wolverine's face is just so damn. emotion. Like it's so good. Like it's just like shout out to David Marquez. His Wolverine's face just looks so intense. Like there's a million emotions. Tell me your thoughts on his face so I can stop talking. Oh my gosh.
First of all, I thought like he has a good skincare routine because like he looks good. Like it's it's like nice and shiny and like getting those ring. I don't even see a single wrinkle on him. He may be hundreds of years old, but honestly, again, it's all in the eyes. Like I said last time, I love how it's like a combination of like I don't want to help you, but I have no choice. Like it's kind of like he's like torn between the two. It's like brother, like it's a combination of like I'm tired, but I was like yeah, she's right. They are kids.
And it's just even if he's saying he's tired, he's still gonna do it. That's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like he's like I don't want to do this.
Look, good old Logan.
But we cut down to the side panel. It's like 2 miles from Miro, Alaska. That's negative, Rogue. The strategy is to stay away from Grey Malkin prison for now. Jubilee's intel just confirms that we need more data. So it turns out Rogue, the person she does not want to talk to, is Cyclops.
Ooh, what a Boy Scout.
He is really not, though.
No?
You know what? I need more Cyclops content because he's not a Boy Scout
more
anymore.
Data.
I need more data. Like,
sounds just like him.
But you see, she's like, Cyclops, Scott, Charles is in there. Who knows who else? And Cyclops is just like, stand down, Rogue. Please trust me. And she's like, I hear you, Scott. Anna Marie. I said I hear you. And Jubilee's like, what's your thoughts between their conversation?
Yeah. Well, I caught that thing like Charles is in there, so that must be the Prisoner X.
That has to be Prisoner X.
It has to be Prisoner X then. So he is still alive then, but everyone thinks he's still dead, But as far as their conversation goes, like it seems like there's no relationship between the two. That's it. Whatever camaraderie they had, it's I think it's hanging on by a thread, But this was kind of different because like Rogue has been the leader this whole time, and she's like making her own decisions for this little group of hers. But now she's kind of calling for like guidance, I guess, or like for advice, like, or just let her know. But then like there's Scott kind of being the control freak that he is, even though they're 1,000 miles away, he's still trying to like make decisions for Rogue's side. So I don't like this dynamic, but he has a point too. Like, why are we jumping to conclusions? We gotta do more.
You need more data. You need more.
He's right in a lot of ways. He is right, but like, come on, Scott, why you gotta be like?
And it is interesting because I think maybe Rogue called to be like, hey, can you take care of this? Like, can you do this? Because as we saw in the first issue, she's trying to stay out of it. Logan's trying to stay out of it. Gambit's trying to stay out of it. They're all trying to stay out of it. And maybe she called to be like, hey, they're there, go get them. And he's like, I got my own shit going on right now. Which kind of leads me to her next piece of dialogue, which is just like, Kurt, we need him. Because damned if it doesn't turn out that we're the X-Men now. She's like, damn, I guess we're the X-Men. Like, we got to go do shit. If Cyclops is going to go do it, I'm going to go do it.
And then Kurt is Nightcrawler, right?
Yeah. Kurt is Nightcrawler. Okay. So we're going to get everyone that was on the cover together. Yes. But Wolverine's just like, last question for now. Who's hunting you? All in. Yeah. And Jitter's just like, how can you not know? It's the Hag. I don't even think she's human. And then we cut to the final page. Grey Malkin prison. They're just like, Warden, she's here. And she's brought another one. And this woman's like, very well. She's hunting all of us. She's hunting us for a bounty. And this warden's and this creature's like, I've brought you a prize for your collection, Warden. Tasty and fresh. And the warden's just like, oh, thank you for the gift.
I know, yep. Thank you.
Sarah.
I love this villain so much. I love this villain so much. It kind of reminds me of like the Wendigo.
But it's Sarah.
Who's Sarah?
The woman from the beginning that that Professor X was flirting with.
Wait, what? No.
Yes.
No.
At the beginning, let me pull up my fucking comic. She says,
There's lots of people named
She said,
Sarahs, though. Maybe
"My
it's another
name's Sarah, by the way. Oh, yes. Hello, I'm Charles." They wouldn't do all this if that wasn't Sarah. There'd be
She was
no
a total babe in the beginning. What happened?
You don't think she's a babe now?
No.
Them
I was about to say she looked
legs,
like
them
an
claw
evil.
fingers.
No. What happened? What happened to that hair? That beautiful blonde hair?
That's part of the mystery. But
Oh my god! I like her evil design though, because again, like it reminds me of the Wendigo, tall and lanky, very cold, dark looking, always in the forest and stuff. So I like that little design right there.
But yeah, that's Sarah. That's the woman. It just if it's not, that's bad storytelling, because you don't introduce to us a character through a background and then just not do anything with it. So that has to be Sarah.
Oh wow!
And if Professor X is in the building, maybe she's helping because she fucking hates Professor X. It's like, he broke my heart, he fucked me over, and now I'm gonna help you catch mutants.
Oh my god!
So that's Sarah, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
How did they break up? I don't know.
That's part of the mystery. That's what we're gonna find out.
So she's also a mutant then?
I don't know. That's the thing.
No.
She could be, because then it would fit into the idea that this lady, this warden, is using mutants to capture other mutants. So maybe it's that. Right? But you know what? This cover said, "Who are the outliers?" Maybe the next one will be like, "Why did Sarah and Charles break up?" Just like a whole fucking thing. All right, we're back. I was very talkative that issue, but what's your thoughts on it? What do you think of it?
I loved it. A little too short for my taste, because like I told you, like issue number 1, I loved how long it was explaining everything. Now I was like very quick paced, and you just described to me the ending, because I was reading it earlier. Like I just went completely over my head. Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. She's an evil lady named Sarah. But now you're telling me it's a freaking Xavier's X right there, and so and that just makes me even more curious. It confirms my suspicions that the guy in that helmet, Prisoner X, is Charles Xavier. I have a better idea who the outliers are. A bunch of scrappy teens. I loved it. 2 thumbs up. Good read.
I had a fun time. I feel like there's enough interesting stuff in there to get me engaged for the next issue. I do want some answers though, because I'm like, where do these kids come from? Is this lady actually Sarah? Because I was 100% certain it's Sarah, but now that you're doubting me, I'm a little like, is it not Sarah?
No, you're right. It makes perfect sense, right? She's at the beginning. She introduces Sarah. Sarah at the end. It makes perfect sense. But you're right. Lots of open-ended questions. Got me curious. Who is this person? What's doing here? What's your plan? What's your ultimatum? What are they going to do next? I feel like this was like a little slower pace from issue number 1. I feel like this one took a little time to breathe, to do a little more introduction, especially with these new characters. And I like that like Jubilee was in. But as far as like, did it bring up the ante? Not quite. You know, kind of like issue number 1 was like, oh, right here, and then issue number 2 was like, kind of like a little dip. I just hope issue number 3 will be like, just kind of takes off. We'll see.
Yeah, and I wonder how they're gonna juggle having these new kids and like fighting for mutant rights. Like, are they gonna open up a school? Like, what are they gonna do with these children? You can't just have these kids around. You got to do something with them.
That's true too. Like, I was just starting to like this crew of Logan, Rogue, Nightcrawler, right, and then shit. What's the Cajun? What's
Gambit?
A Gambit. There we go. I was like, okay, that's 4. That's a good company right in here. And now we got a bunch of kids now. Is that going to mess with the dynamic, or is it going to make it better? I hope it's better. Sure.
And also, like, are you going to open a school? Like, what is the goal here? I'm interested to see what they're going to do here with these kids. And are you going to train them? As you said, are these the new mutants? Are these like the new mutants now? Like, what are they? But in another X-Men book that's coming out called, I believe it's Exception. I don't know what it is. It's by Dr. Evil Ewing, and I love her work. But it's starring Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde Shadowcat, you know, the one who could walk through walls. Yeah. It's like their book. And in their book, they also have 3 young kids that they're going to be mentoring. So I'm just like, are all these kids going to come together and be like a new generation? Like, what is...
So we have 2 comic book runs where they have like mentors, in a way. But then you told me there was another standalone comic with Cyclops in his own.
Yes, and he's a bit more of like revolutionary. I'm tearing down fucking weapons of destruction against mutants. Like, so there's no kids there.
Okay.
There's like, they have younger members, but they're not like teenagers.
Okay, so that, I guess that's a good fresher look at it, because we have two comics with children and stuff. So I wonder why they went that direction. That they're going like using kind of the two of the same premises. But we'll see. See how this goes.
That is interesting, because what are you trying to say with these kid characters? What message are you trying to convey? Like, are these younger kid characters going to get our group of X-Men like Logan and Rogue, who don't want to really be a part of the action anymore? Are these kids going to drag them back? Are they going to inspire them to once again take up the cause? Like, what is the purpose of these kids? And I guess we're just gonna have to find out, because I could see something like that, like, oh, this new generation's fighting, so we have to help keep up the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was for sure a rocky start, a rocky introduction between the group. So for sure, it's even gonna get rockier. That's my.
I already feel like I'm gonna title this video like "The X-Men Fight Children." Like, I think that's gonna be the title.
Do that title like that, because that's literally what happened.
And then a picture of Wolverine punching that one kid, like, like sure.
Blood splashing out of his mouth. Oh, that honestly, that's your clickbait title.
That is my clickbait title. Please, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please like it, and so Rudy wants the views. Give him the views.
500, baby. Come on, let's go. Come on, share it.
Why 500? Do you feel like that's achievable?
Yeah, it's it's not too ambitious, but it's ambitious, but then not too low. It's right there.
I think Diego's video got like 110. So why don't you just do like 112 or something? I don't know.
115, baby. Let's go. Come on.
All right. We can do 115. Thank you so much for being on the show, Rudy. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we end this?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Rudy's All Right. And hey, man, Noah and I wrote a poetry book. If you're into poetry or you're getting into it, come and support us.
Link down below.
Link right here, and then Noah, you're gonna make a little graphic right here, right?
I have to make a graphic
right here.
Oh,
do flames.
Okay.
Make sure flames come out as I do this. And then there's the logo. There's the image right here. You'll take care of that, right?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely edit that in.
Thanks.
Noah, don't edit that in, Noah. If you do it, you're a fucking pussy. Anyways, I'm sure nobody heard that. I'm professional. Please hire me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow all my socials in the links down below. Goodbye.